Here's where it's going to get interesting. We've looked over this gardening business and decided that we're not going to make the investment because we're not hitting a 12% bar. We have a net present value of $2,000, negative $2,000, which means we're losing money compared to a 12% investment. Saying that, the actual rate of return is 11.66%. It's not very far off, and it's a reasonable rate of return. So even though we're not going to make the investment as is, what we can do is explore ways of changing our investment a little bit, making a few changes in order to see if we can raise the value of our investment. So what we're going to do is look over all the things we have, and we have a magic number. In all these questions, our magic number is $2,000. Why is it $2,000? That's the net present value. Our net present value is negative $2,000, which means if somebody gave us $2,000 right away, then that would be good enough to have a net present value of 0 and invest in this business. So I'm going to write out a few things. So there's a few ways we can hit this magic number, and that's what we're going to do for the rest of this lesson. If someone gave us an extra $2,000 today, let's say there's a government rebate program that gives us $2,000 for starting a gardening business, then we would be at a net present value of exactly 0 and we'd be fine. What if we could reduce our startup costs by $2,000 and we had to pay $2,000 less? That would also be great because then we'd have a net present value of 0. And now we're going to get into the math part. What if instead of saving $2,000 right away, we saved a little bit per year in something that was worth $2,000? And what we're going to see next is we could also increase our revenues by a little bit every year in something that equals $2,000. So here we're going to switch to solar panels. So by switching to solar panels, and let's say we are getting them installed for free on a government program, just to make this costing a little bit simpler, we're going to be paying less on electricity because we'll have solar panels. So we need $2,000 today, and we're going to get a little bit of money being saved every year at the beginning of the year, because that's when we pay our electricity bill, all the way up until the beginning of our final year. This is just an annuity. It's an annuity due with a present value of $2,000. So let's just fill out our annuity. An annuity due means we have begin on. PY and CY, here's a simplification we make because everything is a little bit approximations. We might as well do everything annual. That makes things a lot easier. We need a 12% MARR, so that's going to stay as our interest rate, and our time span is 7 years. The present value that we're looking for is $2,000. And the payment, well, that's what we're going to compute. The future value, it's 0. So let's put everything into our calculator the way we normally do. Make sure PY, CY are set to 1, and for investment decisions, we normally keep our PY and CY 1 just to keep things a little bit simpler. And let's just make sure this is an annuity due by turning begin on. I'm going to compute that payment, and I get $391.28. That means we need to save $391.28 per year on electricity. If we did that, our net present value would be 0. So our net present value would be 0, and our internal rate of return would be exactly 12%. If we could save a little bit more money, that would be a little bit better. Let's actually go a little bit further. What if we increased our revenue? If we increase that annual revenue, then we would be able to do it the same way. Remember, revenue comes at the end of the year. That makes this an ordinary annuity. However, everything else is exactly the same. We're just taking our money at the end of the year. So going to the calculator, I'm just going to turn off begin. There we go. And I'm going to recompute that payment. And we get a bigger number. That's how much more money we need. So if we had an extra $438.24 in annual revenue, we would be fine and we would like to invest.